CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us on this Thursday, June 4th. A forest fire south of Timmins has really grown in size, prompting the mandatory evacuation of Matagami First Nation. CTV's Madison Merrier brings us the very latest.
The Timmins 9 fire has grown from 350 hectares on Monday to just under 3,000 hectares as of this afternoon.
Hot, dry conditions, some of the winds as well. It makes for some challenges in being able to control the fire. We have been using a lot of aerial suppression to bring down the intensity of the fire and the fire behavior itself.
Nearby communities are less than 10 kilometers away from the fire and have been monitoring the situation.
We sent out a notice today to our residents to at least prepare for an evacuation, so that, get your belongings together, at least what you need, and other items, your pets, etc., your valuables, at least prepare just in case, because the evacuation notice, if it does come, it will come very quick.
Matagami First Nation notified community members yesterday evening of a mandatory evacuation, and Highway 144 has been closed as a precaution.
The highway right now is closed from the watershed to Timmins. They're anticipating that the fire will cross the Highway 144 this afternoon. That is concerning to us, being south of that, because the winds tomorrow will shift to the north, which will put us directly in the path of the fire again.
According to the MNR, there are 9 fire ranger crews, water bombers, and helicopters battling the wildfire, but it is unknown when the fire will be under control.
It has intensified overnight from yesterday. We did see a bit of an increase on the area of the fire, and that was due to the low humidities overnight and just the conditions on the ground as it is now.
Meanwhile, the Matagami Fire Department has set up suppression systems nearby homes to keep the community wet as the fire rages on. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Meanwhile, the city of Timmins says it is instituting a fire ban while the high temperatures and dry conditions. All open-air burning and open flames are prohibited. This includes campfires, outdoor fireplaces, and pits, along with incinerators, plus slash and burn agriculture. Burning permits that have been issued by the city are suspended during the fire ban. Propane-fueled fire pits and barbecues are permitted but must be used with caution. So let's talk about the weather. Another warm one out there. However, unsettled conditions are on the way. For more details, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman. Rick.
Tony, we need some rain, lots of it, but there's also the risk of thunderstorm activity as well, which could be a problem for some areas. We'll get to that in our 5-day forecast and a lot more. Your first take on weather brought to you by CAA. Get your membership today at caa.ca. Here comes the precipitation as it filters into the northeast, beginning overnight, and in some cases rain by midday. Greater Sudbury 11 by about noon tomorrow, but again, chance of showers overnight, risk of a thunderstorm in some areas. We'll get to that and a lot more, but again, we could use some rain to get rid of that fire hazard. Tony, back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. 2 people are facing serious charges following a sudden death in March east of Sault Ste. Marie. Police responded to a disturbance March 29th at a restaurant in the town of Bruce Mines. 23-year-old Caleb Foster from Deborah was seriously injured in the altercation and died a few days later in hospital. A 21-year-old and a 55-year-old from Bruce Mines have been charged with manslaughter and will appear in court July 2nd. Ontario's Minister of Labour was in Greater Sudbury today to dole out millions that will help train workers who will fill high-demand skilled labour jobs. CTV's Angela Gemmel reports.
At 18, Kiana Leroy is the youngest graduate of Community Builders and now is gainfully employed and confident about her future.
Community Builders showed me that there's a place for young women in the trades and gave me the confidence to pursue that dream. The program taught me how to safely use hand and power tools, but it also taught me so much more.
Community Builders is one of 3 training projects in Northern Ontario to get a portion of $8 million in provincial funding from the Skills Development Fund. The Minister of Labour, Immigration, Training and Skills Development says the last round helped 14,000 people access training.
Those are numbers, but it's measured by stories like Kiana's, where we're helping people find those meaningful jobs and recognizing that when it comes to training, if we can bring that training closer to home, partner with social enterprises like this.
The social enterprise known as Community Builders has been around for 10 years with 4 sites, including Sudbury and Sault Ste. Marie. Individuals who are facing employment barriers are part of a 12-week paid program which trains them for jobs in skilled trades. The $1.9 million from the province will help almost 200 individuals.
We may be building construction, but that's a vehicle to change people's lives through employment. Our main success metrics is actually getting people employed who are coming out of the program. So opportunities are what we like to hand out, and we have about a 89 to 90% rate of full-time employment for those graduating out of our program.
Also getting funding are an Indigenous-led partnership in Northwestern Ontario and an Indigenous-led social enterprise made up of 3 Northern First Nations.
We're facing growing demand for skilled workers, particularly in industries that are essential to building our province, including, as I've mentioned, infrastructure, mining, and advanced manufacturing.
The Skills Development Fund will provide $3.2 million to Science North to establish a training centre at Dynamic Earth. That will train 7,000 people a year in mining, construction, and other sectors. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Well, Ontarians have spoken. CAA's top 10 list of the worst roads in the province have been unveiled, and 2 of them are in Sudbury. CTV's Lindsay Alick reports.
This is the 3rd worst road, according to motorists across Ontario.
Based off of our research, we saw that folks are venting about the state of the roads to friends, family, spouse, but not necessarily to their government officials. So we hope to continue those conversations with different levels of government in order to advocate for, continued infrastructure funding and a dedicated road maintenance.
Barton Street East tops the list of the top 10 roads in Hamilton, with Notre Dame Avenue in Sudbury coming in 3rd and Panache Lake Road at number 7.
We recognize those roads are in poor condition, and they're actually Notre Dame, for example, is part of our large spreader laid asphalt program for this year. So it's not a full rehabilitation of the entire street, but it's targeting the worst areas with large asphalt patches. And then the Panache Lake Road is targeted for next year.
Purvu says the list is making a difference.
County Road 49 in Prince Edward County, they got about north of $40 million to repave that road, which has been a frequent flyer on our list for a number of years. Eglinton Avenue West had the LRT project that was completed. That road ended up falling off the top 10 list this year. We've seen the city of Hamilton respond to the campaign by announcing funding towards their roads. Even the province came out with a pothole fund last fall.
CAA has been doing the annual Worst Roads campaign for 23 years now. Purvu says the top concern was potholes, but that motorists also noted poor road maintenance, uneven roads, traffic congestion, and safety in terms of cyclists and pedestrians. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
It's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5. Rick has your full weather forecast. Right now, let's go to the CTV Live Tower Cam in Sudbury. The shot is of the water tower. It's 28 degrees in the Nickel City. We will be back in a few minutes.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Another steamer in northeastern Ontario. We've got rain in the forecast, perhaps to give you a bit of a reprieve. Forecast radar as issued by Environment Canada. Here it is in its glory. By about 9 o'clock on Friday morning, of course, we've got some shower activity beginning tomorrow, maybe around noon in Greater Sudbury and elsewhere. Chance of showers overnight, risk of a thunderstorm. We'll get to that and more. But again, that will continue into Saturday, hopefully dissipate by Saturday evening. Big soccer game in Sudbury. So the Cyclones do not need rain Sudbury Nickel Belt, 5-day forecast. Here we go. Chance of showers tomorrow beginning at around noon, 23. Your expected high, 40% chance on Saturday, 24. Now Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, here we go. Sunshine, 27, 28, and 29. That's a perfect combination. Some sun and cloud on Tuesday, by the way. Meanwhile, in Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, risk of a thunderstorm, 60% chance of showers tomorrow, 21 your high, 22 Saturday, 40% chance. Sunny skies for a couple of days, 25, 27, and 30% chance of showers come Tuesday, also at 27. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, boy, that area needs some rain. Chance of showers 24 at 60% tomorrow. Again, 60% chance Saturday, 22, 28 Sunday, Monday 30, and 29 cloud cover on Tuesday. Moving on over to Temiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake. Chance of showers 60%, risk of a thunderstorm 25 tomorrow, 40% chance Saturday at 23. Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, sunny skies 27, 29, and 30 with the sun and cloud come Tuesday. How about North Bay and West Nipissing? Chance of showers tomorrow at 30%, 24 your high. Saturday, 40% chance, 25. Meanwhile, Sunday, nice day here, sunny skies and 27, 28 on Monday, more sunshine there. And Tuesday to wrap things up. Right now for this segment, we'll have more in the 7-day forecast, of course, sun and cloud and 29. So some nice weather coming up after we get rid of the chance of rain, Tony, for the next couple of days. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. A comprehensive fundraising campaign is moving into its public phase as the Timmins and District Hospital Foundation works to raise the final $10 million needed for a new emergency department and medical equipment upgrades. CTV's Lydia Chubak reports.
I believe it's important to recognize
the Timmins and District Hospital invited community partners to a special luncheon to learn more about its fundraising campaign. The foundation has already raised $20 million, with that money earmarked for a new emergency department. Hospital officials say one of the biggest challenges facing the current emergency department is a lack of privacy for patients receiving care.
I actually had a patient where I had to divulge that they had new pancreatic cancer. And, you know, the room just next door to that, separated by a curtain, heard about that story. And, you know, within minutes, texts were going around about that, you know, being divulged. And that's just not fair for the patient at all. It's actually unacceptable.
This is just one example, Harper says, why the upgrading is necessary.
The standard of care now would essentially be every room is its own room. As opposed to being separated by curtains, it should be separated by cement or walls. You know, it should have its own basic healthcare necessities in that room. There should be a door for that room. It should not just be a curtain.
First day on the job, I was down in the emerge, and it's so crowded, the lack of privacy, the difficulty with infection control, all of those big issues that we really shouldn't have these days.
The Timmins and District Hospital Foundation still needs to secure $10 million to reach its financial goal to purchase updated medical equipment.
We've had $20 million raised. We're in year 4 of our 5-year capital campaign, so we essentially have about a year and a half to go to get us to that total of $30 million.
Hospital leaders say pre-construction work on the new emergency department could begin as early as this fall, with the major work starting next spring. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
2 people have been charged after Anishinaabe-Aski Police Service seized more than $100,000 in drugs. The drug bust was part of an ongoing trafficking investigation in Constance Lake First Nation. The investigation led police to a motel in Hearst, where police executed a search warrant yesterday afternoon. Police seized suspected fentanyl, methamphetamine, and other drugs, along with a replica firearm. A 41-year-old woman and a 57-year-old man, both from Constance Lake First Nation, were arrested. Police in North Bay are warning that with the nicer weather, home improvement frauds are starting to heat up. The public is being told to be cautious with people offering low-cost roofing or driveway repairs. While these offers are often presented by someone at your door using high-pressure tactics, it can be through flyers or legitimate-looking websites. Police say you should always compare quotes, ask for a signed contract outlining the scope of the project, and ask for proof of the contractor's licensing, liability, and WSIB coverage. Police in North Bay also arrested a 26-year-old man from Toronto going door to door in the Birch Haven area in February. The man told people he represented the federal home energy conservation program and promised rebates ranging from $5,000 to $10,000. According to police, the program he referenced had concluded several years ago. And the cost of food is going up. Coming up on CTV News at 5, we'll tell you what's driving the price increase. Changes are coming for a federal benefit program with millions of Canadians set to receive payments. Starting tomorrow, eligible people will receive a one-time GST HST credit payment. The Canada Groceries and Essentials benefit will replace that credit beginning next month. However, eligibility rules, payment calculations, and the overall structure will remain the same. According to the federal government, quarterly payments will increase by 25% each year for 5 years. This comes as new inflation data shows Canadians are still feeling the pressure at the grocery store. According to Statistics Canada, food prices jumped 3.5% in April compared to the same month last year. Meat remains one of the biggest contributors to food inflation. Low cattle supplies are a big reason. And the price of coffee is up 20% because of poor harvests and supply chain issues. The North Bay Parry Sound District Health Unit is going to put up new signs on city beaches about health risks. The health unit says it's shifting away from monthly beach water E. coli bacteria sampling, saying the sampling provides a snapshot of bacterial levels only at a single point in time. Results are published several days later, and water conditions could have changed by then. The signs remind swimmers to check the water before going in.
By the time we get the results back to us, it's usually several days after, and water conditions have changed, and there's lots of things happening in between when we sample and when we get the results, like heavy rain, strong winds, birds congregating on the shoreline.
The health unit is going to continue to investigate public complaints and may collect water samples at beaches when safety concerns are reported. Communicating information on harmful blue-green algae blooms will also continue. Canada has an AI strategy. We'll hear more about what that means. When we return, it's our weekly Tech Talk segment. You're watching First at 5. We have plenty of ground to cover in this week's Tech Talk segment, so without delay, let's bring in cybersecurity and tech analyst Ritesh Kotak. He joins us from Toronto. Hi there, Ritesh.
Hello.
Canada has a new AI strategy. How will this change the AI landscape in this country?
So what it's going to do, and I like to simplify it because it's quite complex, but if we kind of break it up into 3 buckets, AI sovereignty, adoption and digital literacy, and safeguards. That is what essentially has been announced. So there is a very real push by the Canadian government to have computing power and data centers within Canada to make sure that when we're using these AI services, the data and the computing is staying within Canada. Plus a lot of resources for Canadians when it comes to AI adoption and digital literacy, understanding what AI is and how do I use it effectively as a business and an individual. And finally, safeguards, and that's kind of legislation. How do we make this AI environment safe? There's been a lot of talk around online harms and chatbots and how AI is being misused. And hopefully this strategy will address these concerns, which are definitely prominent when it comes to AI in Canada.
Amazon sells new AWS agentic AI shopping tech in 2026. Will AI agents dominate the online shopping experience?
I don't know if they're going to dominate, but they're clearly going to have an impact. And this is kind of what we're seeing with AWS and just agentic AI, their latest offering. Here's the way it works. So when you go to a website and you want to buy something, you're scrolling through a catalog. But imagine it asks you a bunch of questions. For example, I got to buy a gift for Tony. Okay, great. What's the occasion? How well do you know Tony? How much do you like Tony? What's your budget? And it takes all that information and it makes recommendations for me.
Finally, Ritesh, last week you were a myth buster. Let's try another one. Here's a question. If I use a VPN, I can't be tracked. Is that a myth?
It is a myth. A lot of people believe that using a VPN means you're not going to be tracked, but there is this component called fingerprinting. So what the VPN does is it alters your IP address, your internet protocol address, your digital physical address. So it looks like you're coming in from multiple places in the world. However, what these analytical softwares can do is they can actually look at certain information on that device. For example, your screen font, your screen resolution, your system configuration, and it can track you across multiple services and make a prediction that you are this same person, even though you're altering your IP. So there's technology right now. In fact, Apple is promoting the fact that they have anti-fingerprinting technology built right into their browsing, which essentially scrambles that information and it fully anonymizes you when you're online. So this notion that VPNs will make you anonymous on the internet, that's a myth.
Ritesh, always appreciate our conversations and your insights. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Ritesh Kotak joined us today from Toronto, and to see more of our Tech Talk segments, head to our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. Our first community close-up is from the North Bay area. Check out this great video sent in by Sue Shearer of Astorville in East Ferris. She says this evening grosbeak was pretty tame. She says it almost landed on her hand at one point. Thanks so much for sharing this with our viewers. Sue. Congratulations to the official chartering of the new Lions Group in Greater Sudbury. It's made up of young people from 12 to 18 years of age. The Cave Leo Club will provide community support and develop skills as they grow with the club. And check out this 1955 Ford F100 truck belonging to Jerry and Wendy Fowler of Sudbury. They bought it in BC and it was delivered last week. The Fowlers also used it as a backdrop for their granddaughter's college graduation photos. And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6 o'clock. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National News.